think it'll help. What? Are you kidding?
Chev is a highly trained assassin who specializes in eliminating elite and influential people. He works under Carlito, a commanding boss of a massive Mexican cartel. At Carlito's order, Chev had taken out Kim, a Chinese rival of his employer, which earned him plenty of enemies. One morning, Chev wakes up and suddenly begins suffering strange symptoms. His vision is hazy, and he can barely stay upright as he stumbles into his living room. There, he discovers a video disc and plays it on his television.
I guess maybe you're feeling like fuck. Can you guess what this is? Dude. Wait. You can't move. Is this shit? I just fucking killed you.
Ricky confesses that he injected him with a deadly toxin while he was asleep, and reveals that the poison will kill him within an hour. Chev, enraged by this, smashes the TV in anger. He immediately jumps into his car and rushes toward a nearby club, searching for Ricky. On his way, he contacts Kalo, his street informant, and orders him to track down the missing hitman to help with his revenge. While gripping the wheel, Chev's heartbeat slows as he struggles to stay awake. Fortunately, he makes it to the club and storms through the entrance. Chev instantly grabs the club's owner and holds him at gunpoint. The killer demands Ricky's whereabouts, but the owner calmly says he has no idea.
Now look, Chevy came here because he has something he would like to discuss. Easy. You see, I don't know where Ricky Verona is, because if I knew where Ricky Verona was, I'd probably be there right now, beating the...
Frustrated with the response, Chev heads back to his car and drives away. Moments later, he phones his doctor, Miles. Chev explains his condition and details the symptoms he's suffering from. After thinking it over, Miles tells him that he was poisoned with a substance called the Chinese cocktail. The toxin is extremely lethal and blocks the body's production of adrenaline. Miles instructs Chev to keep moving constantly to force his body to create more adrenaline. Otherwise, he'll die instantly. He also mentions he's out of town but will return in a few hours. Chev thanks him for the advice and hangs up. Just then, Chev hears a loudspeaker ordering him to pull over and notices several police cars right behind him. Seizing the chance, he uses this as fuel to pump up his adrenaline. Instead of stopping, he ignores their warnings and drives his car straight into a shopping mall.
Very nasty. If you stop, you die. Pump it. Couple of grams of coke. That's a start.
Shouting at the driver to step on it. Inside, Chev remembers the doctor's advice and keeps moving wildly, shaking his head aggressively. After a short ride, the cab halts at a supermarket and Chev rushes inside. He drags the cashier across the counter and threatens him at gunpoint. Chev then goes around the store, grabbing piles of energy drinks. Afterward, he returns to the cab and heads straight for Carlito's mansion. There, he finds Carlito relaxing in his pool and speaks with the cartel boss. Chev learns that Carlito already knew about his condition and even arranged it. It turns out the cartel had been under attack by Kim's furious Chinese gang after the assassination. So, Carlito chose to sacrifice Chev to make peace with the rival group. Hearing this, Chev explodes in rage and storms out of the mansion, returning to his cab. He throws the driver out onto the ground, steals the vehicle, and speeds off. Not long after, Miles calls back with more advice on fighting the toxin. The doctor suggests Chev get injections of epinephrine, a synthetic adrenaline, from a nearby hospital. Chev thanks him for the guidance and hangs up when a call from Kalo comes through. The informant reports that he spotted Ricky's brother Alex at a local diner and asks Chev to meet him there. Thrilled by the lead, Chev immediately heads toward the restaurant.
How awesome was that, huh? Wanna hold hands? What's something? Looks like you should have helped me up when you had the chance. This fucking jail? That's right, bro.
Moments later, Chev slips into a hospital disguised as a patient.
Can't give you up, nothing.
He strolls through a corridor, but notices 2 officers in a ward and bolts off immediately. They chase him closely, but Chev stays ahead, dodging patients in his way and sprinting down a stairwell. He notices medics pushing a patient on a stretcher and follows them. Chev grabs a nurse, pointing a gun at him, and demands an epinephrine injection. Terrified, the nurse frantically searches the cart until he finds the vial and quickly hands it over. Chev snatches it without hesitation. Feeling his heartbeat slowing down, Chev comes up with a wild idea to kickstart it. He orders the nurse to shock him with a defibrillator, but the medic hesitates. Forced at gunpoint, the nurse complies and blasts Chev with the paddles.
Clear?
He tosses a patient out of the elevator, slams the doors shut, and descends to make his escape. While the elevator drops, he fills a syringe from the vial and injects himself. Unfortunately, he overdoses on the drug, sending him into overdrive as he dashes madly through the city streets. He only halts when he spots a crowd gathered around a TV screen, realizing the police have issued a citywide manhunt for him. Elsewhere, Ricky learns of his brother's death when his men deliver Alex's severed hand to him. Furious at Chev, Ricky vows to hunt him down and finish him for good. Across town, Chev worries about his girlfriend Eve and calls her to check in. Relieved to hear her voice, he tells her he'll be at her place soon. Shortly after, Chev sees a police officer on a motorcycle. He seizes the cop's gun, warning him to stay back. Chev hijacks the bike, taunts the officer by circling him, then speeds off to Eve's home. When he arrives, he urges her to get ready, and the two leave the apartment together. Outside, Chev notices one of Ricky's men nearby, and deliberately knocks Eve's bag down to distract her. He returns to Eve, and they head downtown to a small restaurant. While waiting for food, Chev finally admits to Eve that he's a contract killer. He explains what's happening and warns her that her life is in serious danger. Eve is shocked to hear this and thinks Chev made the whole story up just to indirectly end things with her. Angry, she storms out of the restaurant, with Chev chasing right after. He grabs her hand, but suddenly feels his pulse slowing as he collapses to the ground. To jumpstart his heart, Chev begs Eve to boost his adrenaline by doing an act right there in the street. At that moment, Chev's phone rings. It's Kalo, who tells him Ricky is hiding out in a nearby warehouse. Hearing this, Chev hurriedly pulls up his pants, kisses Eve goodbye, and rushes off toward the spot. Eve also gets dressed as the bystanders scatter back to their routines. When Chev arrives at the warehouse, Carlito's men are already waiting, and he quickly realizes Kalo has been killed.
Hey, what's that mean? Say, what you been doing? What you been doing?
Chev then discovers that Carlito himself ordered the hit, having tortured Kalo to set him up. Furious, Chev opens fire, gunning down 2 thugs as a firefight erupts. Moments later, he spots Eve in the building's elevator, shocking him. But just as he leaps into the elevator, a bullet tears into his leg. The two ride the lift down to the ground floor, where tailors are busy sewing. Chev grabs a thug and forces his hand into a sewing machine, leaving the man screaming in pain. Seizing the chance, Chev and Eve escape, stealing a car outside. Carlito's goons jump into their vehicles and give chase, sparking a wild pursuit. Chev drives furiously to shake them off, but the attackers relentlessly fire at him. Their bullets shatter only the back window. And Chev quickly returns fire, hitting the men and causing their cars to wreck. After escaping, Chev gets a call from Miles, who tells him he's back in the city. Relieved, Chev heads straight to his place. There, Miles administers an epinephrine drip to slow the poison down. Still, the doctor makes it clear there's no cure for the toxin, and Chev only has a few hours left. Miles offers him a painless poison to ease his death, but Chev refuses, insisting he has unfinished business with Ricky. Not long after, Chev calls Ricky and sets up a meeting at a nearby hotel. Ricky agrees, and Chev ends the call. The assassin kisses Eve goodbye, promising to return, and heads off to face his enemy. Inside the hotel's bathroom, Chev loads his weapon and hides it beneath his coat before stepping into the elevator. At the top floor, two of Ricky's men greet him, snatch his gun aggressively, and escort him to Ricky. There, Chev finds Carlito and Ricky sitting together on a couch.
I know he's carrying something. Oh, you pat him down again.
After a few words, Carlito produces a syringe containing the dreaded Chinese cocktail from his briefcase. He orders his men to pin Chev down so he can inject him and finish the job. But before the thugs can act, one of them is shot in the head. It's believed to be holdup and making a desperate... Carlito's crew is stunned, only to realize the bullet came from a rival gang positioned behind Chev. When Carlito turns to see who it is, he's stunned to find out their leader is none other than Kim. In a flashback, it's revealed that Chev had actually spared Kim's life and told the gang boss to lay low out of town for a few days. Kim agreed, and rumors spread across the streets that he had been killed. In truth, he was alive the whole time, staying hidden. To repay the favor, Kim arrived with his crew to rescue Chev from his deceitful employer. The Chinese mafia unleashes gunfire on Carlito and his soldiers, forcing them to scatter for cover. Ricky raises his weapon to fire at Kim's gang, but Chev hurls a wine bottle at him, slicing off his fingers. Meanwhile, Carlito ducks behind a wall and urgently calls his pilot to land a helicopter on the roof. Moments later, Chev spots him escaping and dashes up the stairs in pursuit.
I'll kill you for this, Jillian! Look out!
He manages to intercept Carlito right as he's about to board the helicopter. At that instant, Ricky sneaks up on Chev from behind and injects him with another dose of the lethal toxin. Furious that Ricky abandoned him during the battle, Carlito yells at him, only for Ricky to respond by shooting Carlito straight in the chest. Ricky then tosses Carlito's corpse out of the helicopter and orders the pilot to take off. As the chopper lifts into the sky, Chev clings to the doorway and lunges at Ricky. The two engage in a brutal fist fight midair, grappling inside the helicopter before tumbling out. While plummeting through the air, Chev seizes Ricky by the throat and snaps his neck, finally avenging himself.
I'm glad you called, but I'm not here.
Moments later, Chev crashes onto the roof of a car, bouncing off before hitting the pavement. The film closes with Chev staring intensely at the camera, his eyes still open before blinking, signaling that he has survived.